All right, it's patch notes time. These are going to be the last non-emergency patch notes that we're going to get. All right. So this is the final patch of Endwalker. The next time we see official patch notes, it's going to be 7.0. It's going to be Dawn Trail. So let's go through our last batch. We didn't expect anything big. All right. In fact, my notes pretty much said we're expecting a 15% echo on Pandemonium Abyssos. We're expecting PvP changes. Series is going to stay the same. Trial 7, Zeramus is going to be going to have the odds of its mount drop increase, and you can exchange its totems for the mount. And Thalia is going to have all of its weekly caps removed, as well as your ability to get the tome weapon through Thalia as well. So let's get started. Let's see how correct I was, because I'm willing to bet that's pretty much all we're going to get. So first up, EXP gained by trust NPCs has been increased for, is that all of the non-90 dungeons? Zot, Babil. Yeah, it is. That's all the MSQ dungeons except for the final dungeon. Huh. Do they mean EXP earned with trust NPCs or EXP the trust NPCs gain? Because it's implying the latter, but I didn't know trust NPCs gain EXP. I'm confused. The number of elegant tomestones of causality, these are the uncapped tomestones, available as a reward for completing 2 rows of wondrous tales, have increased from 500 to 1,000. We're really just trying to go ahead and just make that wondrous tales worth doing. Because I'll tell you what, all right, on my alt, not my main, my alt, I've been going on my way to make sure I do wondrous tales every week, just because it is a time saver and a half to just grab 300 Joker tomes, the cap tomes, from that just by completing a row. Because it usually takes me like an hour to complete wondrous tales. Just go in, just and it's not hard to just second chance until you get 1 row. 2 rows now, that's going to help a lot of people very, 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 very easily get their relic weapons. Now, I don't think it should be this easy to get your relic weapon. It was already painfully easy to get your relic weapons. This is just going to make it that much easier, like comically so. You have no excuse to not have your relic weapon to get out of it unless you just straight up don't care. Now, whether you're going to use your relic weapon as glam, that's another story, because that's a very sci-fi looking weapon to try and make work for any kind of fantasy based game. It's a challenge. A lot of people have been able to do it, but man, it's rough. It is rough. All right, as expected, Abyssal Fracture Extreme has been moved from the Raid Finder to the Duty Finder. It's no longer high-end duty. It's now just a regular duty. Not too surprising there. Pretty sure I had that in my predictions. Drop rate for the Lynx Flute, the Lynx of Abyssal Grief Flute in Abyssal Fracture Extreme has been further increased. And you can also now, as it shows, be able to exchange 99 of the Void Vessel totems for 1 flute. So that's going to end up being roughly 50 Zeramus kills, which shouldn't be too hard, to be perfectly honest. Zeramus Extreme is not that hard of a fight, especially if you're going in with a bunch of friends that are willing to coordinate. It's not hard to get 50 kills of this, just time consuming. The weekly restriction upon receiving Unsung Blades of Anabasios from Anabasios, the 12th Circle, has been removed. I want to know why it took this long. This is so stupid. So these are the blades that if you get 4 of them, you can exchange 4 of them plus 500 Joker tomes for your 650 weapon. The only reason to do this is for glam. The weapons actually do look really good. And in fact, as we'll get to most likely later on, in fact, I'm willing to bet it's right. Yep, it's in fact right there. You can even upgrade it to a 660 weapon, even though you can just go get your relic weapon, which is really easy, which is a 665. There's no reason this should have been capped. There's no reason for you to spend literally a month to get 1 weapon. This cap should have been removed at like 6.5. Not 6.55, not 6.58, not 6.51, 6.5. This should have been removed. There's no reason this should have existed. But that's my opinion. The strength of the echo in Pandemonio Anabasios Savage has been increased. It is now up to 15%. Folks, we did re-clears with 10%. I don't know what to tell you if you can't clear with 15%. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Practice. I don't need to tell you that you're bad, but you definitely need to do some internal searching and look to improve if you're having trouble clearing with a 15% increase to your HP, damage dealt, and healing potency. Because man, 10%, areas that we were struggling before with no buffs became trivial with 10%, and another 5% on top of that. Whoo! It should be cake, but we'll see. The weekly limit on rewards from the treasure coffers has been removed from Thalia, so you can go get your 650 gear there. Honestly, I wouldn't be grabbing this unless you wanted it for glam. What really matters is the fact that the weekly limit on the coins has been removed. You can exchange 1 Thalia coin, 1 Euphrosyne coin, and 1 Agalia coin for one of the divine upgrade items over at the Wondrous Splendors, I think is the name of the NPC. This lets you upgrade your tome gear from 650 to 660. You do that for all of it, plus your relic weapon, and you have achieved maximum eye level. Not your best in slot, mind you, but that'll get you maximum item level. And gear-wise, theoretically, gear-wise, going into Dawn Trail, it means you theoretically shouldn't need to worry about your gear until level 97. If we're just going off what I've seen in past expansions, you only just start beating out 660 at about the third dungeon, gear-wise, and it's only by a few item levels. The one after that, which for us would be the level 97 dungeon, only then does the item level really start beating out. So if you ever want to know why even bother for the gear with the expansion coming, that's why. Because now all the gear you get while completing MSQ can all be turned into sweet, sweet cash. As in guild, not actual cash. Anyway, I am required to enhance equipment and purchase with the Galia tomestones, or I'm sorry, Allegan tomestones of comedy. Divine solvent can be purchased in the following vendors. This is from Esvaz in Radzat Han. This divine solvent will turn your level 650 tome weapon into a 660 tome weapon. This you really shouldn't be doing for item level. You should only be doing this for glamour, because the 660 version can be dyed. Otherwise, don't do this. There's no reason to do this. Upgrade your other gear instead. I'm just telling you. Again, unless you want it for glam. Because I will say, those weapons do look really nice. All right. PvP changes. We knew this was coming. We just didn't know what it was. And it turns out it's only Paladin and in fact, only Paladin and Dancer. Paladin, their Holy Sheldron gets, looks like a nerf. 20% duration is removed, going from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. Barrier potency reduced from 12,000 to 8,000, so you're only blocking 8,000 damage now. Unexpected damage dealt to nearby enemies when the effect expires has been increased from 100% of the remaining barrier to 150. Okay. Nice resolve effect. The duration has been reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Interesting. So what this is doing, okay, let's pretend you ignore it. Let's actually do a little bit of number crafting here. If I ignore the Paladin, because I normally do in PvP, and they use Holy Sheldron, I would just end up eating 12,000 damage from their barrier, right? If I do it now if I ignore them now with this 8,000 potency barrier, I'll instead take 150% of that, which is, oh, it's 12,000 still. Yeah. No, this is just straight up a nerf. This is just a nerf. There's just no other way to look. Yeah, it's a nerf. Okay. Confidier, the damage has increased from 8,000 to 12,000. Blade of Faith, Truth, and Valor. Looks like they've all had their potency increased by 1,000. So Unlimited Blade Works had its potency increased, and Sheldron got a nerf. Interesting. I wonder if they're trying to make it so that we just don't ignore the Paladin anymore. They're now a damage threat, and the Holy Sheldtron is not too much of a deterrent to just ignore them. I mean, you want to know why I just ignore them? Because they can hit a button and become immune. It's the same reason why I ignore Dark Knights the instant their HP drops. I'm in front lines and I see a Dark Knight's HP go from half to 1. Guess what I'm doing? I'm hitting tab, and I'm going to start beating on the next closest thing next to me that isn't that Dark Knight, because it's pointless. It's the same thing with the Paladin. If I see a bubble comp, guess what? Tab. I'm going somewhere else. All right, Dancer. The attack and barrier potency granted by each stack of Acclaim has been decreased by 1,000. Nerf to Dancer. Okay, then. Crystalline Conflict. The season 10 has ended and season 11 begins. I have to say this every single frickin' time. Okay? The series has not ended. Your Battle Pass series has not reset. You did not have to worry about clearing your Battle Pass series. You have until 7.0 to do it. It appears, at least we have enough of a consistent pattern to see that it looks like they're only going to go ahead and give you a new series, a new Battle Pass of rewards to clear every single major patch release. Because we had one at 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, and this is our last one here. We thought we might have seen one in the middle of it because 6.5 is going to be a very, very long patch. Turns out, no. Unless they really blindside us, but it doesn't look like it. This is going to be the last patch. We're not going to see a new series until 7.0. You have plenty of time to get the rewards. Don't worry. Now, if you did had ranking rewards from season 10, you can now collect those, and season 11 will begin. For you crazy people that do that. All right, system changes. In accordance with the end of the stress test, the cloud data center has been removed from the list of options on the data center selection screen. I forgot all about it. I meant to go and mess around to see what it was like there, but I was too focused on my own jobs, both IRL and in-game. Woohoo! The next test, however, is going to be the all worlds on the Oceania data center are now available as destinations in the data center travel menu. Oceania data center will be open for travel starting Sunday, March 24th at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Oh boy, this is going to be very interesting because there's been some fascinating comments on the YouTube video that I posted up about this. When I first mentioned this, when it first popped up in my feed, I might do a separate video on this because there's a lot of thought I had about this. The fact that it is the lowest population data center, is this a veiled attempt to try and get more people on there? Is this really going to be an experiment? Are they just going to make it so that data center travel is just to a super low pop data center like Oceania? Ocean Man? Is that the goal? It's not the worst idea in the world to just have like all the various data centers and then just have like one centralized data center that's just like the world. You want to be on the world, you can just go ahead and just be there. It really isn't the worst idea in the world. Or is it really, as we suspect, that it is in fact just a test to see how much all of our different cultures coming into clash really are going to go ahead and just blend with each other? I'm curious what everyone thinks. I really, really am. This whole thing is very interesting. And the fact they actually are going through with the tests, I figured they were just like, oh, we don't know how it's going to go. And they were just like, yeah, we're never going to follow up on it. LOL. That was just like their soft way of going like, yeah, we don't know. We could never know. I guess we're just never going to do it. LOL. That's all I kind of thought, but here we are. And then the rest of it's just resolved issues, which we'll see a few things like an issue during the main quest scenario, the sad trap of Rods at Han, wherein a city would not be present in the main hall of the Baldessian Annex under certain conditions. Whoops. Issue during the Duty Alexander Burden of the Sun Savage, wherein damage of an enemy action height error was not downscaled. An issue during Alexander the Burden of the Sun, wherein certain actions did not function properly when targeting enemies. An issue in Crystalline Conflict where the Crystalline Conflict map would continue to display even after unchecking display elements in the HUD layout menu. And an issue when completing the seasonal event, Breaking Brick Mountains, wherein players were unable to repurchase the item Thug's Mug from the recompense officer. I want to see what event is Breaking Brick Mountains from. Is this a sign that we're going to see Dragon Quest come back? Why would they tweak this unless it is in fact going to be one for this is in fact, as we can see right here, it is in fact a quest that does come up in the Dragon Quest seasonal event. So the only reason they'd go ahead and make sure they fix that is if this is going to come back. And quite frankly, this is almost a no-brainer. Of course this is going to come back. They need something to go ahead and fill the void. And how could they not with the passing of Akira Toriyama? This had to make a comeback. It had to be on the docket for coming back. There's no way it wasn't going to. But seeing that it is coming back, now all you newbies can get some good old puff puff, as you should. So they've gone ahead and made sure that things are being addressed there. Although, here's a fun one. Apparently, the description of Holy Sheldron in PvP does not reflect the nerfing they just gave it. Whoops. So there's gonna have to be a hotfix later on to tweak that then. They can't just go ahead and nerf Holy Sheldron and then just decide, nah, we're not gonna tell them. Because that would just mean that anyone who doesn't go ahead and reads these patch notes or watches a video like this one to hear about that would just be like, oh, Holy Sheldron, nothing's changed. And in fact, it got a pretty decent nerf. So that is in fact all the patch notes. That is all the patch notes for all the changes they made for the final Endwalker patch. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you like this kind of information, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps with all of it as we're trying to grow this up. And also make sure to go ahead and follow over at twitch.tv/EagleFalcon. We would have actually recorded this live on stream, but yeah, I couldn't stream today. We just ran way too late. So that's gonna do it for me. Take care, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.